Dug a hole.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Twang and Bang. If you've been watching my channel since I started it almost 2 years ago, you've seen this optic a lot. It's my Aimpoint T1. I got it in November 2011, and it had been living on my 300 blackout SBR up until the point where I got this great upper from Bravo Company, and now this is its home. It is absolutely my favorite optic for an SBR. It has a lot of uses beyond that, and it's not just its features or its size that has made it popular with a lot of the top names in ARs. It's also its reputation for incredible durability. You might have seen Larry Vickers doing a torture test of a Daniel Defense rifle, and he shot the T1 that was on that rifle with a shotgun. He dropped it out of a moving vehicle, he ran it over, and then he blew it up. When he blew it up, it broke the rear lens, but the red dot still worked, still held zero. Then he took that broken optic on the rifle and he dropped them off of a building, he dropped them out of a helicopter, and the Aimpoint T1 still worked. That's just YouTube testing. There are plenty of real-world examples of unintentional abuse that show why the Aimpoint T1 is the gold standard for micro-sized red dots. I was able to get an H1 from Aimpoint to compare the two, and that's what's coming up next on Twang and Bang. The T1 is the top-of-the-line Aimpoint Micro Red Dot sight. It's a non-magnified reflex collimator sight with zero parallax beyond 50 meters, and it's available with either a 2-minute of angle or a 4-minute of angle dot size. The T1 is the only micro that is night vision compatible, with a special lens coating and low-intensity settings not found on either of the other micros. All micros use a CR2032 lithium battery and can be left on for over 5 years at a level 8 setting, or an amazing 50 years at the night vision settings on the T1. The H1 shares the same basic features and construction as the T1, less the night vision compatibility. Both weigh only 84 grams and are only 2.4 inches long by 1.6 inches wide by 1.4 inches high, not including mount. Like the T1, the H1 is suitable for use on anything from handguns to carbines to crossbows to shotguns like this Saiga 12. The turret caps on the micros are sealed by O-rings and double as adjustment knobs. They're even labeled so you know the relationship between turns and changes in point of impact, which I think is pretty slick. Each click equals 1/2 inch at 100 yards. Aimpoint also includes this red tool, which can be used to adjust the turrets or the torque screws on the standard Aimpoint mount. The dot intensity is easily adjusted by the large knob on the right side. The T1 has 4 night vision and 8 daylight settings, and the H1 has 12 daylight settings. Settings 6 to 8 are best for most use, with brighter settings for direct sunlight outdoors. The red dot in all Aimpoint micros is an eye-safe LED focused at infinity so that it appears exactly at the range of your target. This gives the micro zero parallax beyond 50 meters and only minor parallax inside of that range. The T1 and H1 are both made of high-strength extruded aluminum and hard anodized in matte black. They differ only in appearance at the logo, which is white on the H1, and the lens, which has a green mirrored look at sharp angles on the T1. The green is an expensive phase shift coating that prevents the dot from burning in on night vision sensors. Though you can use the H1 with night vision, it's not recommended because the dot can damage image or electronics with extended use. Aimpoint offers a lever release Picatinny mount that is keyed to the sight body so the micros maintain zero even under severe recoil. Risers are available for the LRP, including this one that allows absolute co-witness with AR-15 iron sights. A number of respected companies also offer mounts for the Micro series, including this one from LaRue Tactical. You can usually find them as a package that saves money compared to buying the Micro and the mount separately. This is my favorite use of the Micro, close-up shooting with a short and light SBR. The dot is fast to acquire and useful in all lighting conditions. I don't have to worry about the battery dying or the optic quitting because of any impact that my rifle could survive. You'll also find micros on a lot of competition pistols. The fact that this Gen 4 G17 is still cycling shows just how light these sights actually are. Wow, it's really easy to stack them on top of each other when using a red dot. But what I really like about the T1, the H1 that this is is the big field of view. It's very easy to pick up the dot when you press out. That's the biggest challenge that people have when they go from open sights to a red dot sight. With open sights, you always know where those sights are pointing because you can see the whole slide. You can see the front sight no matter how far off it is from aligning up with the rear sight. With red dots, it's not so easy. You have to have a good press out to be able to find that dot. And with the size of the field of view of the T1, the H1, it makes it nice and easy. And as you can see, this Glock, I've done nothing to it. I'm shooting training ammunition. This is not hot stuff, and it's having no problem cycling with the H1 on top. I love this thing. That's fantastic. Aimpoint includes a bikini-style lens cover with every micro, though it's as easy to lose as it is easy to use. Though many shooters choose to forego a cover altogether, Tango Down offers a fantastic solution that protects the micro while keeping your lens covers handy for whenever you need them. They're available in black, FDE, OD green, and foliage green, and they've proven quite popular since their release. One of the best features about the Micro Series is that the red dots are completely parallax free beyond 50 meters. That means that regardless of your head position behind the optic, as soon as you see the red dot, you have a really good idea of where your bullet's going to go. It's not going to correct for the impact of form errors on your marksmanship, but it's going to reduce the impact of having to make a snap shooting decision or finding yourself in a very awkward shooting position and still having to make the shot. No optic is truly parallax free at all ranges, and if you move your head to extreme positions behind an Aimpoint Micro, you will notice a slight parallax effect at short ranges. It's important to keep in mind that if you get your head that far off a good cheek weld, your form will have a greater effect on your point of impact than the parallax. And with proper training, neither will be an issue you can't overcome at the close ranges where you'll notice this. You probably also notice that there's a slight green or blue tint to the optic, and this is visible with both the T1 and the H1. The tint is just enough to reduce glare and increase contrast between the dot and the target without being a distraction or reducing the amount of light coming through the sight. If you shoot with both eyes open like I do, the tint almost fully disappears even though it's still doing its job of making the sight more effective. You'll find that there's about a $50 to $60 difference in street price between the H1 and the T1. And of course the T1 has the more expensive coating on the lens. It has different positions in the rheostat so that you can use it with night vision equipment. But I wanted to find out, is there something more to the two of these that would result in the H1 being less desirable? Because if you read the specs, the use specs for the H1, it doesn't have the same depth rating. It doesn't have the same temperature range rating. So in talking to an engineer at Aimpoint, I found out this. The difference between the two optics comes down to the warranty. And that's all I could nail him down to, is that the warranty for the H1 doesn't cover the same things that the T1 warranty does. And so you just need to look at the specifications of the H1 and see, realistically, does that cover the uses that you're going to be putting it through? And for me, the answer is absolutely yes. I'm not going to be diving as a combat swimmer with either of these optics. I'm not going to be going into the temperature extremes that the T1 is rated for, but the H1 is not with either of these optics. So even though I have a T1 because I got it at a great price when I bought it, I'd be just as happy with an H1 for my uses because I don't have night vision equipment. If you want to learn more about the Aimpoint Micro Series, be sure to click the link in the video description below. If you like this video, please take the time to log in and click the like button or the plus button in Google+. YouTube needs to know that you like firearms-oriented programming. And be sure to click right here to subscribe so you can catch my next videos on bows, guns, and other cool things. I really appreciate you watching Twang and Bang and hope to see you next time.